No graphics tonight, just going live. Welcome. This is Scruffy City Aquatics live stream. And my name's Mitch, and I'm here with my buddy Tanner.
Yes. Hope everybody's doing well tonight.
This is the last live stream for the channel for 2022. Cricket here.
Yeah. I think we started mid-year, so been doing this for about half a year now, which is kind of awesome. It has flown by. I will say that.
Yeah, it has. I've got our first live stream was in June, so we are 6 months in at this point.
Wow.
So that's really cool. Before we get started, thank you to the mods who are here and taking care of the chat, helping us out. We appreciate that. And for all of you on the replay, we really appreciate you checking out this video. And I'm sure you're doing like a water change or something like that while you listen to it, or maybe you're on your drive to work. I do that a lot with the live streams. But thank you for listening to the replay. And for all of you in the chat, we're extremely grateful for you that you're here spending some time with us, knowing that we don't have a giveaway this week because we did ours last week. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. That was great. I want to thank everybody who came out and joined last week, and also want to thank Fish Fam and Fish Fan Christmas for everything they did. I think that was awesome, and congrats to those who won last week.
Yeah, Fish Fam Christmas is a great committee that was put together this year. My understanding, because I didn't really follow it last year, I was watching some of the live streams, but not really connected in the community. And I saw a lot that was going on, but I think it was pretty much Rico Stan putting it all together. And then he had a few volunteers who were doing Santa work with him, but it was a big task. I think he was told he couldn't do it on his own again. And thankfully, there was a committee of dedicated Fish Fam members who joined in and helped out. They did a lot of work. There were about almost 50 channels involved in the giveaways. I think every channel had about $150 worth of prizes that were being given away. And everything given away were gifts from the community. I think most of it, the vast majority of it, was just gifted by the community. There were a few businesses, but I think those businesses are part of the community too. So all in all, just a huge community effort. It was a lot of fun. It was fun during the live stream because we knew when we were going to have Santa. We knew we needed to go live, which we could have not done that. But we talked about it. We were like, that'd be a lot of fun to just kind of push our live stream a little bit later than normal and see who stays around. And that's when our giveaway would be. So we were like, we're on board with that. Let's do it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then, being able to play it off that, maybe it'll be on another live stream, and then to have Santa Ed join us. It was fun.
Yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed that.
It's been crazy past few days though. We're just right outside of Christmas at this point, a couple of days. How are you doing? How's everything getting back normal? I think you just got back home.
Yeah, I was in Knoxville for Christmas. I got back yesterday evening. It took over 5 hours or just at 5 hours to get from Knoxville to Nashville because of all the snow that started coming down and just Christmas traffic. So glad to be back. Busy time of year, but glad to be on here and seeing everybody join us.
Yeah, we don't have to travel much outside of the Knoxville area. We just travel quite a bit around Knoxville. It seems like we went from Christmas Eve evening up until late Christmas Day that evening, just on the go, which, it's a lot of fun. It's great to be able to spend time with family and see everyone and to be able to celebrate the holiday. So thankful for it, even though it is very exhausting. We spent most of the day yesterday just relaxing. We played a little bit of some Switch games. The kids and the family, we got a few Switch games like Switch Sports, and we've been playing Mario Party, but we got some extra Joy-Cons. So we got to have some fun doing that, and we played some not charades. We with my little sister. We were over at their place, and we played Pictionary, where you draw it. It's not Pictionary.
Yeah, Pictionary's fun. I think that's Pictionary.
Okay. Maybe it is. Yeah, we've had a good time.
Yeah,
Just
it was a
looking
great,
at
great. Just Christmas is busy, but always look forward to it. It's great to spend time with everybody.
Yep. So looking at the chat, I see we have Crowntail Half Moon is here. Keeping Aquatics is also here.
Master
Aquatics,
Aquatics.
Eduardo, I see you.
Scotty the Fish Freak, welcome, welcome.
TJ Autocross, thank you for being here, TJ. TJ's always commenting on videos. Yeah. I appreciate you, TJ. Thank you so much. I never fails. Every video, even some of the shorts, I get a comment from TJ, and that's always special. Thank you. Mexicali Fish Keeper, thank you for being here.
Nancy B in Tennessee, welcome, welcome. Thanks for always joining.
Tanner, I believe I've lost your video again.
Oh my goodness.
You're just kind of frozen. I was waiting to see if it came back, and it hasn't. Darlene's Tanks is here. Hold Darlene. Scrolling. Lots of conversation, which is awesome. You're back. I see you.
Awesome.
We said hi to Scotty. Vibes Aquatics is here. It is cracking, Vibes. Everything is cracking. I see 3G with the peace sign. Hello, 3G.
Welcome, welcome.
The chat just jumped on me. My Fish Tanks Aquatics is here. Craig from Craig's Catfish Cave is here. Welcome, Craig. I kind of figured we would drop all of a sudden when I said we didn't have a giveaway tonight, but we're still up there. Thank you for being here to hang out with us tonight.
The Zen
Ginger,
our wonderful mod.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just realizing I got to go do something. Oh, I see Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Yeah, I saw y'all that Kane got a puppy. Y'all got a puppy for Christmas. That is awesome. I hope you're enjoying that. That's great. Looks like we got Spaghetti Nona. Welcome.
Yeah, and
welcome.
Two Cooley for Schoolies here as well. Love that name.
Regina Phalanges.
I can't remember if I said My Fish Tanks Aquatics or not, but welcome.
And looks like we have Matt Graber says, finally catching one of these live. Thanks for joining us. I know a lot of streams I catch on the replay just because I can't make it to them being live as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, here lately I've missed some of the ones that I'm pretty diehard on trying to make it to. I've had to miss those too, which is cool. You got the replay. That's awesome to be able to do it. But Matt, thank you for joining us. Glad you were able to make it to one. And I'm scrolling through the amazing conversations. Glad everybody was hanging out. Thank you for being patient. I know we were running just a few moments late. Tonight, that was all me, not Tanner. He was like messaging me, "Where's the link? I need in. Do you have the link ready?" So I think Bunny Viper, that catches us up with everyone who's been in the chat. So thank you again, everyone in the chat, for being here and saying your hellos and hanging out with everyone. Hopefully soon I get my lighting fixed. That was the big I'm behind tonight because I had to set up in front of the tank, which is kind of abnormal for me. But I don't have my normal light, and the lighting over here is horrible. I'm sure the backlighting doesn't help, but yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to get that fixed, hoping to crack open my my light and get it working again, or I'll have to order another one. Nathan Hovey is here. Had to lean in on that one. Apparently, I need a bigger screen. First live video on the channel. That's awesome. I'm new to the 49 channels. Okay, so looks like Nathan has found the Fish Fam during Fish Fam Christmas, or at least has been finding new live streams to join. So thank you. It's good to have you. Glad you found us. Liquid Zoo. Hello, Matt. Thanks for being here. And while I see Liquid Zoo and Matt, I want to say thank you to fishfam.link. If you didn't know, especially Nathan, Matt, if you don't know about fishfam.link, great resource. You can go there and you can look and see who is live at that moment, at that very moment. Or you can go to the calendar, which I bring up constantly. You can bring up the calendar and see when the next live stream or when your favorite live streamer is going to be going live. All of that is there, as well as you can go to their profile, look at their social medias, find out, where they're at, where you can follow them, all of that, email addresses, all the fun stuff. So check out fishfam.link. It is a great resource for all of us. And you can, of course, also support fishfam.link. If maybe you've been using it for a while, you've not had an opportunity to support it, but maybe you found yourself into some funds here recently and would like to. I know that with everything they have going on that they're trying to do, that it would be greatly appreciated, not expected by the community, but it definitely helps with building out all that they want to do, which I know there's more and more they want to do.
Definitely, yeah. After finding Fish Fam, that's a fantastic resource. Just a ton of information, and they do a really great job of trying to build, and enhance the community and make sure, because a lot of the people on the fishfam.link I would have never found without that resource. So it's always great to try and support them.
Yeah. I'm just looking through real quick as I try to buy time, because I realized it's been a little while since I checked something over on the YouTube page, and I wanted to look at it real quick. That was your cue not to allow there to be awkward silence.
Keeping says that the fish keeping rabbit hole is deep. Yes, you can go as in-depth as you want with any small topic of the hobby, and you'll find someone who has spent years researching and keeping one specific, this one plant or this one fish. And it's always interesting to see others' experiences because, everybody enjoys keeping different types of life in their tanks. And it looks like we've got Silver Creek Aquatics joining us. Thanks.
What's up,
joining.
SCA?
Hope you're doing well.
Good to have everybody. And and what's great about having such a huge and diverse community is we're all in, we're in different areas of the country. Some of us aren't even in the country. When I say that, I mean my country, the United States, because the Fish Fam is international. But we're all in different areas of the world, different areas of the United States. And we've had different experiences, and we're passionate about different parts of the hobby. So we're talking about different parts of the hobby. And the same thing with all the YouTube videos and all of that. You get so much content, so many different views and different angles at looking and talking about things. It's just awesome.
It really is, because, you go to 3 different stores near you, and they're all keeping something. They've all got something different in stock. So just the difference between East Coast and West Coast of the U.S. with what, stores keep in stock, what hobbyists keep, the interest of that area can be vastly different, which is just really, it's a really unique hobby in that there's the little niches you can get within aquariums are basically limitless.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm pulling up something here to share. Let's see if I can share this real quick. I did want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed over the last few weeks. We are at 387 subscribers on Scruffy City Aquatics, nearing that 400 mark. Hoping to do something special before the end of the year and hit that 400. Working on it. Details to come, because I'm still working on it. Don't know that I'm going to pull it off before the end of the year, but I would love to.
But I do want to.
We are. And the fact that I can't commit to it yet just makes it that much harder to make it happen. But we have discussed days and times. So if I can get it worked out, I'll announce it as soon as I can. Let me share something. I did ask over on the community page if anyone would like to share with us. Where is it? What has changed in our hobby in 2022, and keeping. Before I do this, I just want to make sure I understood. Is this something that I can share, or something that you want me to wait and share later? Because are you committing to this? Is this a definite? I did see this before, and I saw your message in the chat, but I don't want to share it if you're not ready to share it. So I'm gonna give you a moment on that while we wait. We are talking about 2022 tonight on this live stream, talking about what has changed in our hobby over the last year, which has been a lot for both of us.
Yes.
And a lot of that is you all. I see a lot of maybes. It's a thought. Maybe. Okay. So this is a thought. All right. I think it's awesome. I think it's a good thought. When you're ready to talk about it, let us know. We'll be sure to talk about it. Because I did put out on the community page for the YouTube channel, if anyone would like to share anything about this year, to send me an email. And so I thought it might have been that. So we'll move on. Thank you for sending that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll share it with Tanner too later when we're not on the live stream. But we did want to talk about 2022 and what has changed for us. Mm-hmm. I would love to have had a lot of pictures and stuff, which you guys know I enjoy doing and having things together, but it is 2 days after Christmas and I just didn't get to it. So we're just going to have a conversation. We hope you participate in this conversation with us over in the chat, and let us know about how your hobby has changed in 2022. Our plan is that next week, which will be the first live stream in January, we'll talk about, what are some of our plans for 2023? Mm. What are some things we hope to do in 2023? What are some things we hope to accomplish? And, kind of goals for the channel, maybe things like that. So that'll be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are doing that this week before the new year, but, and I think that's how this episode, this topic came into being as well. We were talking about that. Tanner was talking about it, and I was like, well, what if we did a look back first and then did that? Well, we were also out of time because we had to do Christmas and stuff. So it's like, well, it'll be fine. Which the first one at the beginning of the year is like, I don't know what it'll be, the 3rd of January or something like that.
I think cool. So. Yeah. And it's always, I like to, kind of use the last stream of the year. I think it's nice to have a recap of what happened and what we did and accomplished. And also, what went wrong this year. Things we wanted to do, but it's just not. And then we'll start our first stream of the new year with what we want to do and our goals. So I'm really excited for that. 2022 has been as far as the hobby goes, it's been probably my biggest year yet with keeping aquariums, and in a way that I wasn't expecting it, which is awesome. It just kind of sprung up, and I'm really happy with everything that went on this year.
Yeah, it's been a fun time, and just like we said already, a lot of changes. And someone just told me it's actually up to 388 right now on the subscribers. So thank you all. I saw some people asking for subscribers. That's really cool. The community has been awesome. Nathan, I did see that it was Bunny Viper who introduced you to the fish fam. So that's awesome. Bunny Viper's I remember Bunny Viper being in chats and live streams that I've attended for a while now. So, a very important part of our community for sure. I see Zen Ginger's looking at 75s. We must be talking about the Petco sale. I saw that the 50% off is going on right now. Yeah, Nancy B, half price. That's what we're talking about. Yep, you can get tanks at good prices right now.
Yes, definitely. I think they were talking about too the 60 breeders. That's a really popular size right now. That is not
going on sale.
Unfortunately, they don't do the sale. I've been wanting one. I love the 40 breeder has been my favorite size tank so far.
Yeah,
and I really want to get that 60, but looks like Silver Creek says he wants another 4 foot 120. I've got a 4 foot 120 right now that I'm hopefully going to be building the stand for the next week or 2 weeks, hopefully, and getting it set up. So I'm excited about that.
It looks like Eduardo might have got a 60-gallon on the sale. Someone at Petco made a mistake, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome because the 60s aren't that cheap.
Yeah,
I remember I got both of my 40 breeders on the sale for $40 plus tax back when they did the $1 per gallon.
Yeah, I don't know if Michelle's still here, but I know Keeper Kane is dying to get one of those 60s if he hasn't
Yeah,
already. So he needs to go try that 50% off sale. See if he can get them to swing that. All right.
definitely. I
Okay.
know Kane and I have talked about that before.
Yeah, it's a sweet size. It is, when I was shopping for a large tank, I knew I didn't want a 55 because I wanted to do a planted tank. And I feel like if you're doing a planted tank, you really need a lot more depth than just that 12 inches. It's really hard to do an aquascape with only having 12 inches. Um, my big comparison, because 60s weren't, I don't even know if the 60 was out yet. I think the 60 came out right after, because it was at one of the trade shows. It may have been an Aquashella or something where everyone first saw the 60. I do remember seeing everyone talking about it. But my big choice was between the 75 and the 90, and it came down to lighting. I wanted the 75 because it was a little lower, which allowed me to get a little more light down low. And that's, that was the offset to having that extra 15 or so gallons. Um, of water. I didn't get a water to drink, and now I'm wishing I had. But yeah, that was the offset. There was that I could get more lighting, even though I would have less volume in the tank.
Yeah, by
It's a big,
far
big choice.
my favorite tank style are the wide and shorter
Yeah,
tanks, just because every tank I'm going to do is going to be planted, and it's so much easier to get. You can get more budget lights. The light will
yeah,
reach the substrate easier. So the most of the tanks I have are going to be that deeper and shorter style.
yeah. And that's why the 60 appeals to me because um, I like the footprint of the 40. It was a consideration. The 40 was a consideration, but I decided to go a little bit bigger, and that's why I ended up there
I like the
with the
75. It's
75.
a good size as well.
It is. I love it. I couldn't get much bigger. I could only go taller in here. And that's not really, like I said, not really what I wanted to do. So 2022, I'm just noticing within my notes, it says 2023 in review. I'm going to fix that because that's going to bug me if I don't. 2022 started off really great for me in the hobby. I will say that 2021 was um, probably one of the times in the hobby where I was kind of on cruise control. Um, Throughout most of 2021, even though I was home more, most of us were, even though I was home more, I wasn't doing much with the tank. I wasn't really going to the shop, wasn't seeing anything new. I don't even think I think I had the 10-gallon up all year round, but I don't think I bought a few fish, but I didn't have a lot of luck out of it. And so I didn't do much new. And I wasn't really planning on doing anything new. The getting involved in starting an aquarium club had fizzled out in 2021. I had realized it was way too much work. It's going to take too much time, too much money. I didn't have the ability to do it. I did not have the time or the money to put into starting a club on my own. So all of that was kind of, the Facebook group that I'd started was just kind of becoming, what all of them become, like classified section of Facebook. And I was not getting out of the hobby, but I wasn't doing anything in the hobby in 2021. So 2022 is a huge difference than 2021 because it was the end of 2021 when I came across the group of people who wanted to start a club. And, I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I started looking into this this past year. I realized I couldn't do it, but if you guys feel like you can, um, I'd be more than willing to participate. I'd be interested in being involved in whatever capacity I can. And to me, that meant you guys go do it, and I'm here. I'm ready to get involved once it's done. And next thing I know, I'm on phone calls planning out a club, which was so odd because I had never been part of a club. I had never experienced a club. I had done some research and done some reading and spoken with some people over the last little bit, but everything that I had done was discouraging about it. Like everything was like, oh no, I don't need to do this. And so now here we are getting involved in it. And so I ended 2021 knowing that 2022 was going to be the first year of the ETAA, moving beyond the original 5 board members and into a literal club that was going to meet in person. And I don't know that I truly understood how that was going to change the hobby for me, but it did. So the very beginning, we met, I think we started meeting the first week of the month. Wasn't it the first week of January?
Not think the second. So, and then it moved to the second after 3 or so meetings, I want to say.
You know what? So that's what it was. It was the second, and then we had to move to the first, and then we moved back to the second. So it was kind of confusing. We had to do that for various reasons, for location and stuff like that. But yeah, 2022, it just started. And I was sick at the beginning of 2022. My family was sick. Everybody was dealing with sickness at the beginning of 2022. And I missed the first 2 meetings. And I believe you made it to one of those, or both of them.
I didn't make it to the first meetings. I think, Richard spoke. Is that right? He does
that was the first
photography.
Richard Wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I missed that one, but I believe I was at the second one, the February meeting. That might have been it. I can't quite remember. I made it to one of the earlier ones, but that was my first club experience as well. I had never heard of clubs, and then I heard people talking about them on YouTube and on Facebook forums and everything like that. And I was like, clubs seem like awesome. There's so much community with them, and that's one thing that I was really lacking in the hobby, was just a community of people to interact with, collaborate with, bounce ideas off of, and really help. In a lot of ways, the community helps drive me forward in the hobby. Just because I get inspired by what a lot of other people are doing and working on. And I guess we have lost Mitch for his. It wouldn't be the last stream of 2022 without losing Mitch to some internet issues. So I'll just go ahead and carry on with what Mitch was talking about. But the club, the ETAA, really changed the hobby for me, and I know it did for a lot of people in the area. Just because it was the first true community that brought people together and really strived to educate and just work together with everyone who was interested in aquariums. And that was really what kind of got me really back into the hobby, because I had just moved to Nashville in that latter half of 2021, and the club started in Knoxville. So I was traveling back and forth going to the Knoxville club quite a bit. But we've got Mitch back now.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those goals for 2023, is to have that fixed.
You wouldn't have caught it, but I said it wouldn't be the last stream of 2022 without losing you to internet outages.
Yeah, well, one of these days we're going to get that fixed. That is on the agenda to take a look at. I keep getting the runaround on what the issue might be. And, I don't really want to, I've got decent equipment. I'm looking up at it. It's over there. I don't want to invest in more equipment if my equipment's not the problem, but it's looking like I'm getting nowhere with anyone else. So anyway, that tangent, you were telling the story of getting involved. Yes, Richard Y was the first speaker. The second in February, I'd have to look at it. I'm not sure. Were you at the second one?
Yes, but I cannot remember who the speaker was at the first meeting. Oh, okay. It was the first meeting I went to, Sean spoke. Sean Peck.
Okay, that was March.
That was March then. Okay.
That was March. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Kenny. That was the first time I'd met Sean.
Okay, well, that was the first time I was there as well. I thought you had made it to one before me. Sorry, I'm trying to silence my phone because Siri decided to interrupt. I think Kenny might have been the February. Kenny Parrott from Aquatic Marine and Aquaticon. I think he might have been the second speaker. But anyway, I thought you were at that one. You weren't. We both showed up at the March. I remember you. Wait. April was my first one. March was your first one. You brought the Super Reds to the March meeting.
Yes.
We should have had this conversation already. You brought the Super Reds because I remember that because a lot of people got them because you brought a lot, and all over the Facebook group, people were like, they're melting and they're going away, and it's like, yeah, those are a difficult plant. So, which I mean, it was awesome because people got to experience that and everything. And everybody was like, okay, we need to ask Tanner how to take care of these. And then I think you brought more plants in the March meeting, and that was because I remember you coming in with stuff.
Yeah, that was funny because you and I had talked on Facebook, but I was up there and I was using that whiteboard, or you were writing the plant names on the whiteboard. And I was telling them to you, and you're like, "How? What?
I was like,
what is
I
this?"
have no idea what you just said. I was like, you're going to have to spell it for me, or I'm just going to throw something up here, and people will have to figure it out.
That was the meeting that actually got me into live foods.
Yeah.
Which was another huge aspect of that I had never even thought about or looked into. I mean, it opened up a lot of avenues within the hobby of just being able to keep stuff and keep fish healthier by feeding live foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty early on. That was Cassandra did that a very in-depth talk. I know she brought some live foods before then, but yeah, there was that talk. It did change, and that's not on my list of things, but that definitely early on changed things for me in the hobby. Although I'm currently without any live foods, I need to get some new cultures started. I crashed a few, crashed and burned. Thanks to something that anyway, maybe that's another episode. So yeah, January's first meeting of the ETAA. March was my first meeting. That was when we actually met for the first time.
Yeah.
It was March was your first meeting. April was my first meeting.
Well, April was the swap.
April was the swap, so it was March. You're right. All right.
I think
we're on the same
March
page.
was both of our first meeting.
Okay, April. I still have it in my head. You were there first. So the Super Reds were there for that meeting, and I just didn't get any.
That must have been it.
Okay, all right. That's what had me off. I was like, I didn't get any of those. So April comes around, and April is our fish swap. So we're only a few months in. We have our very first fish swap. Not only was it the first fish swap of the ETA, it's the first time I had ever been to anything even remotely like that. I even while we were planning it and talking about it, and I would get asked my opinion. I was like, I don't have an opinion on this because I don't know. Like I can, and I did. I ended up giving some feedback based on Comic Cons and those type of conventions and stuff. I had some experience with those and putting on some of our own events that I had been involved in the past. So I'd done some of that, but not fish related. So I kept having questions like, how do you take fish to a swap? How do you leave from a swap with fish? And so there was all this stuff that was going on. And so it really was an expansion of the hobby for me, just trying to learn how to do this and be prepared for it. And because it was our first swap, most of the board members had tables they were putting their own livestock and plants up in this swap in order to have tables for people to come in and to have. Our very first one, we had like 11 tables, but there were like 3 of them were board members.
Yeah.
Because of that, it was only
Jason, Kane, JT, and then Curtis ran a table for someone else.
So Curtis really did it though. Curtis and I were in charge of the club table and in the door. So I kind of did the door mostly, and he did the club table. So we ran people coming in, and of course the other guys helped out too, but they were very busy at their tables most of the time. So I felt like I had to be prepared going in for this thing, and I did not feel prepared until we got going. But that
event was awesome. I remember bagging plants up till like 3-4 in the morning the night before. And then coming to Knoxville, not knowing what to expect, not knowing, did I just bag all this up for nothing? I didn't know what was going to happen, but I came away. I bought as much as I sold, so it was pretty much a swap on my end. But I came away with some really interesting. That's one thing that's nice about getting livestock and plants from other hobbyists is a lot of times they have way more unique and a lot higher quality items than a store that is shipping it from somewhere. Not saying the stores have
Right.
low quality. It's just
Right.
if you can get something that's lived in a tank for a year or two and had fry, it's going to be healthier.
Well, and not only that, but you're getting most likely stuff that's been grown in similar water to you.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
like, even talking about my local stores, if they have livestock come in that week, it's went from one water at a wholesaler to the water in the bag to the water in the store, and most of maybe both the stores that I frequent use RO water. So even keeping that in consideration, I don't. So when I bring them home, they're going into a whole new water. But if I'm buying or trading with someone local, they've got the same water or at least similar water to me, and that makes it a lot easier, especially if they're on that second or third generation of growing out fish. Like the new Corys that I have that I've raised in my water, I absolutely expect them to do better than some that I might buy at a store, just because they were raised in that water.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's how with the Corys that I've bred myself, I have to worry about them much less than Corys I buy from the store. I mean, the ones that I have that I've bred, I'm like, I chuck in some food for them and they are gold.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about them. But that's what was awesome. I mean, that swap was awesome. It was great meeting all the different people that I was like, I had no clue that this many people in the area were into aquariums. So that was just cool because I mean, the hobby can be as distant or as social as you want it to be, which I think clubs help just bring everybody together for a common reason and common goals.
Yeah, I was really surprised at, when I was getting reports on how the first few meetings did. And I was like, wow, really? There was that many people. And then, wow, more people came. There was new people that came. It wasn't just the same people. And then at the swap, we had about 100 people come through the swap. And it floored me that there were so many people interested in that swamp. I didn't get an opportunity to have as many conversations as I would have liked. They were very superficial, because I was trying to get people in the door. Sometimes I had a line going out the door, people trying to get in. People had questions, and just trying to field all that. I didn't get to have a lot of good conversation at that one. I left completely without a voice. Because I did talk to everybody who walked in, except for whoever, when I went on a bathroom break, those people came in. I may not have spoken with them, but everybody else I spoke with, including all the people who set up tables. But it was a great time, and it really ignited something within me. And I was like, ooh, I need to do this more. This is something I want to do more. And then we had Aquaticon. And Aquaticon, this was the first year for Aquaticon. It was put on, we mentioned him earlier, it was put on by Kenny Parrott and Aquatic Marine. And they had other people involved, but they put together a aquarium show for the first time in our area. It was held in Knoxville, and we did. The club was invited to have a table. They actually donated a table to the club. Aquatic Marine has been great about supporting the club all throughout its inception, they invited us out. They gave us a table, allowed us to share information, made sure we knew we couldn't sell anything because we're just a club. We're supposed to do club things. And so, we had a great time at that. Again, I got to talk to a ton of people. I mean, I had hundreds of people that I spoke with, a lot of people that were in the Fish Fam community. And that was really cool. And some of them I found out later. I had talked to them at Aquaticon, but I didn't know who they were. So that was very cool. I got to, at that time, I had started this YouTube channel. Now, it was nothing at the time. I think I had an intro video was the only thing up. Because that was the very first video. It was in April. It was just an intro. So it was just some clips. I'd had a YouTube before where I had shared. It was basically, I've talked about this. It was just like a diary. It was a journal. It was a video journal of my 75-gallon and what I'd experienced, because I was involved in some forums online, and I realized it was easier for me to film it and post it than it was to just write out a book, of what all was going on, and maybe more entertaining too. And then eventually I started adding a little bit of voiceover to that, because before it was just kind of music and video. And so I took some of those clips, put them together, put it on the channel. I told Sean with Tech Tech, and I told James with Fish Room Fever. That was about when I met Chattanooga Ed. So he found out about it after Aquaticon. But I told them about it. And so I was kind of picking their brain, and they were both excited about me getting involved. And so they wanted, which James was super busy at Aquaticon. He was killing it. He was just absolutely busy the entire time. But Sean took me over to the Fish Fam area and introduced me to some people. Of course, I already knew John, Select Pet. I don't know if John's here, but Select Pet was there.
We do have Kane, Keeper Kane,
what's up, Kane,
in the chat. He said he was cleaning, I think, some rat tubs for his snakes, I would assume.
So yeah.
Welcome.
Or he's keeping rats, too.
Monster Fish Gal. So welcome. Yep. Sorry we missed y'all earlier.
I think I saw Zen Garden was here and Mountain Greenery.
Yeah, Mountain Greenery as well. So welcome.
Aqua Garden Zen. That's who it was. Aqua Garden Zen is here. Beta Aquatics is here as well. And I'm scrolling. I'm not keeping up with the chat. Still not good at that. Still, that's going to be one of the things for next year.
That'll be one of the 23 goals. Looks like Silver Creek Aquatic says, at the moment, I have a few empty tanks that need scaping and stocking soon. I'm in the exact same spot. I have about 3 or 4 tanks that I need to set up, and that's some of my 2023 goals.
Yeah,
is to get those up and running.
Keeping aquatics. Yeah, there was a line to get into our first. Now, that was probably had more to do with the fact that I wasn't efficient at getting people in because it was the first time we'd done it. So I was giving people there was a $2 to get in charge at the door, a donation to get in at the door, and you got a little ticket, and the ticket served no other purpose than if you wanted to leave and come back, you could show us. And I had to explain that to everybody. And then everyone who came also got a free vinyl sticker. So I was giving away stickers, and every now and then somebody would want to pay with a cashless option. I'd have to get somebody else to come do it. So there was a line. There was about 100 people that came through in about 4 hours or so. But the line was mostly because I was not efficient at what I was doing. But I did want to get them in. I didn't want them to have to stand out there and wait or anything like that. I also saw Silver Creek was talking about being hesitant to finding a club or getting involved in a club. And I would just say, if you try the clubs and they're not good, just find some like-minded individuals. What's funny is how many of us involved in the ETAA were crossing paths and didn't realize it. And now whenever I go to one of the local stores, I'm constantly running into people who I've met at the club or at stuff. And, we met up before you went back to Nashville in November, and we spent hours at Aquatic Marine talking with people.
Just hanging out and looking at fish. And we actually, Mitch and I first met unbeknownst to either of us several years ago when I was working at another local store, and Mitch came in looking for plants. I helped Mitch get some plants and never knew it until we met up. And Mitch was like, "You look familiar." Yeah. And we sat there and we talked about it. And he's like, "I met you then." And so it's just wild, all the people you pass by and, you never really talk to, but they keep awesome stuff. And it's just fun talking fish with people.
Yeah, and I would recommend hang out at your local store. That's one of the best ways to meet people. Now I run into people I know. Like, I think the last 4 times I've been there, I've run into Kane. He's been there at the store too, and I don't think any of the times it was coordinated. And one of the last times I was there, I sent him a message about something they had that he needed to go get. And I was like, "Hey, they have this at the register. You need to go." But I run into people all the time from the club and that I've met through the club. So do that. Just talk with people. Start a Facebook group, and make it specific about your area. It doesn't have I didn't want. Talking about when I first started a Facebook group, I didn't want it to just be Knoxville, right? I wanted it to be Knoxville is a very metro city. Like, we're not all in one location. We're pretty spread out. And so I wanted it to be greater than just Knoxville, because we've got Sevierville, we've got the Tri-Cities, and we stretch all the way out towards Chattanooga, I feel. But I wanted it to be more than that. And thankfully, the group that was putting this club, what ended up being the ETAA together, had that same vision. They didn't want it to just be Knoxville. Yeah, we meet in Knoxville. Yeah, most of us live in Knoxville. Not all of us, but most of us live in Knoxville. But we want it to be bigger than that. We want it to be the East Tennessee Aquatic Association. So all I'd say, make it bigger than your city. And then as people come in, talk to them. Make sure you're engaging them in conversation. Talk about their tanks. Ask them how their hobby's doing. Learn what they're into. And allow that to just naturally become something of, hey, you want to get together at Dunkin' Donuts on Saturday and hang out for a little bit, I got 2 other people that are interested in doing it, and just get a group together. That's not how it worked for us, but that was honestly what I had planned on doing until I realized I don't have the money to do this. And
I know of a club that started, they met up at IHOP.
Yeah.
That's where they met for, they just IHOP on Sunday nights, something like that. So, I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't, Mitch and I both, the tail end of this year, actually in October, I and a couple others started the Nashville club. I'll call it the Music City Aquatic Society. And that was started because of my experiences with the ETAA, and I just wanted something closer. And I met some people and I was like, hey, let's start a club. And we went from there, and just main thing is, stay consistent and just stay, focus on it. It does take more effort than you think going into it. But if you're, driven, if you're motivated towards it, it's feasible, and there are like-minded people around that want to join and, preserve this hobby and promote it.
Yeah. Nancy B in Tennessee says, I hope Aquaticon happens again this year and that I can make it. So I have coyly said, I hope Aquaticon happens this year, and if Aquaticon happens this year, but in public, I have been told Aquaticon will happen, but the date and everything's not ready to be announced. So I would anticipate it will happen. I believe it will happen. So I think you can trust that that's going to be a thing this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to how we might be able to be involved. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Everybody's just having some awesome conversation. And part of me, the lurker in me just wants to jump in all these conversations, and I don't want to miss anything, which is why I'm going to have to come back to it later and read through what everybody's talking about.
But yeah,
please, if you want to grab our attention, please put at Scruffy City Aquatics. That way we don't miss that for sure. If you're talking to us specifically, that helps us out. But yeah, awesome. I see Whip is here. Welcome, Whip's World.
Yeah, welcome.
That's a guy. I love interacting with Whip around the fish fam.
I think around this time too, it was May, maybe June. It's when I had my first sort of public speaking on aquariums. Sean Peck and I did a presentation at one of the ETAA meetings where Sean aquascaped the tank and I planted the tank and spoke about that, which was so nerve-wracking to do because I had never, talked about aquariums in front of a group of people before, and I was like, they're going to think have no clue what I'm talking about. So, but that was a really cool experience, and it really, that was one way to help me branch out with the hobby and kind of further dip my toes in the water.
Yeah, you did a great job when you've been at the ETAA. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully we get you back sometime. And I know the Music City's keeping you busy, got you on your toes with stuff to do, and I think that's awesome. I applaud you for going out and working on that. I love that you were so excited about what was happening that you wanted to keep it going and to get it in your new hometown. Bet Aquatics, hello. I see that you said hi. Before we leave March, it's almost time for us to end. We're not even the middle of the year. So first fish walk, first aquarium show, first YouTube video. May was the patio pond, and the patio pond was a huge step for me because until the patio pond, I'd only had one tank. I'd had one tank running at a time. Occasionally I'd have, uh, quarantine. I don't know why I forgot that word after 2022. But I had a quarantine tank running occasionally. But that was really the first time that I branched out and taking care of a couple of things and realized how difficult that can be and how fun it can be. All of y'all that have like 70,000 tanks in your home, I don't know how you do it. Honestly, don't know how you do it. But the pond was a lot of fun. I learned a lot with the pond. I had a lot of fun with the pond. I got to branch out into new plants, tried to do some new things. The pond right now is froze over. I have failed my red cherry shrimp, and they have absolutely no hope. But I've learned from this year, and hopefully next year I can do better. I was so disappointed. Like, it kept a hole. Like, I thought I had done it. We had made it through the coldest temperatures. I thought I had succeeded. And then the next morning, just this frozen up cone. I was like, oh no, I've lost them.
I think around this same time too, I had but I was starting to get more of a grasp around high tech tanks.
Yeah.
I was running CO2 on multiple tanks. I'd bought the higher end lighting. So I started to more branch out instead of keeping, the more common plant species and everything. I started keeping different stuff. And also that was the first time that my Corey's bred. And it looks like you've got that in there as well for May. I want to say it was around the same, maybe a little bit later than yours, but that was the first time I raised up Corey's. And those were the first fish, I think, for Mitch as well, that we raised from egg. That wasn't a live bear. This was
right.
Corey's were something we actually had to put. We had to try. Get to raise them up, and that was just a ton of fun and super exciting.
Yeah, it was May for me was when my green Corys laid eggs that I collected. They had laid eggs before. This is the first time I collected eggs. You had done it. You had collected just before me because a lot of the conversations I was having, Curtis was telling me about what he had told you. And so I was coming back to you and I was like, hey, I hear you've gone through this. And so we were talking about it. And I was talking with Curtis because my green Corys came from Curtis, who's a mutual friend of ours. We need to have him on the show sometime. That would be fun. He doesn't do stuff like that. So it would be so much fun.
It would be awesome. He is a wealth of knowledge. I remember that was also around the time of the first meeting. I went over and saw some of Curtis's tanks and got some stuff from him. And it was awesome.
Yes. I've been there at his work and it is awesome. May was also when I joined Susan for SLC's live stream. It was the first time I'd done a live stream in the Fish Fam, and I was very nervous, but I actually sat right here. I had a lamp in front of me like I do today, actually, which is funny because I had horrible lighting, which I solved, and now it's a problem again. But anyway, that was so much fun. Susan was awesome. She was great. We had a good conversation. I got off that live stream on like a high. I was excited. The hobby had just been like, it just kept exploding for me with the hobby. And that was when I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about it? And, it was June was our first live stream after that. So that led into this. And then in August, I knew the micro pond was going to have to go down. And that was when I set the 25 up in order to bring the guppy endlers in. That's also, at that point, I'd done another batch of Corey fry. I ended up with like 30 Corey fry, which I still have the majority of those. I've given 12 away and I still have the rest, which I need to get rid of. But I was like, oh, these are mine. I raised these.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had the 25 gallon in August set up and got rid of my quarantine tank. It's still in the garage for when and if I need it, but I'll probably use a bucket instead right now.
Yeah, I think, let's see, August. I was doing my like third rescape of the year on one of my tanks. I started out the year with two tanks, and now I'm actually up to 5 tanks and 2 shelves of immersed grown plants. So it is growing in terms of size and footprint. My hobby has grown as well, which is awesome. Let's see.
I was looking. Eduardo wants to know, you put Corey's in bread?
Yeah, they do the best in the multigrain.
Yeah,
That's
I
their
like multi-grain.
favorite.
Yeah, it's got to have the little nuts and grain in it. That's the good stuff. The sunflower seeds. Zen Ginger sharing your YouTube channel. That will be a 2023 thing.
That is, yes, we will speak about that because it's been going on too long. I need to be held accountable for
Yeah.
for the lack of content.
It's coming. Well, and that was something you experienced this year. You started it and you lost all the content you created. So you're starting again and you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of fun.
It is. I want to get to it. I want to get to a point where the club is less busy, or the starting of the club is less busy, but I don't think that will happen. But that's kind of what took my main focus and energy.
Yeah, and there's not as many of you right now working on it. We're able to still spread a lot of it out, and we're even to the point that members are taking on responsibilities and stuff. So it's getting a little bit easier for all of us. I kind of feel like we're on cruise control a little bit with ETAA, and that means we get to start planning bigger stuff, and that's really cool. September was when I got the Blue Dreams, which I think was kind of milestone for me. I had wanted to do another type of shrimp, and now that I realized, I've got this 25-gallon, I can do something other than red cherries. So I did start those, and then in October we had the second swap for the ETAA, and I ended up coming home. I ended up with a bunch of fish I didn't want. I didn't need these. I didn't plan on taking them. Nobody else took them, and I was like, somebody's got to take them home. They're kind of cool. I'll take them. And I remember, I don't know if Dave's here, Basement Aquatics, but Dave was there and he was like, I don't want those. And I was like, well, I guess I'll take them. I brought some Endlers home, but also brought home some swordtails. And you probably can't tell it because this is very blurry for some reason, but those are swordtails back there. And I'm now raising swordtail fry, and I absolutely love my swordtails. I got some red. I don't know if there's like a name for the red ones. They're just red swordtails. I think it's like a common swordtail, but there's also pineapples. I love those pineapples.
Pineapples are really cool.
Gorgeous. So I've got that going on, that change in the community, which really, I was on cruise control with the mollies. I was just, other than trying to fight back the sickness that kept coming back with them, until I realized it just was population. I was allowing the population to get too big, and it was stressing the fish out. And that's exactly what was happening. But yeah, swordtails really have been a change in the hobby for me.
Yeah, I got
in November
here for the first time.
Yes.
Or the first time in keeping, multiple tanks. I was like, I haven't done live bears in a while. Got some guppies. And I remember why I don't normally do live bears, because there's so many of them.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? I did guppies too this year. Which from the micro pond, I have some guppy Endler hybrids. But I've also got some guppies in this tank, where I have the albino, trying to remember what he called them. They were, it's a pure line. No, they are the albino super reds that I got from Bruce with gorgeous guppies. Gorgeous guppies.
Bruce's gorgeous guppies. I think it's Bruce Yates.
Bruce Yates. Yeah, Yates.
That's where I got my stories from.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the black Venezuelans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sells those, and he does he does show quality guppies. I ended up with a trio of his guppies. I lost two of them like recently. I was really disappointed. My wife was disappointed, but I have one of those females left, and I've paired her with another male that I'm hoping I can I'm not going to chase an albino. I realized after the fact how difficult it was going to be trying to keep an albino strain alive anyway. And so I'm not really interested in keeping them as albinos. I'm just going to kind of go for a specific color. So it's kind of something I have going on in this tank behind me right now as well. TJ says, apparently Eduardo brought it up. Pineapple and ham on pizza is lovely. Oh, wait, I must have seen what Eduardo said. Eduardo said loves pineapples not on pizza. I'm with you, Eduardo. I cannot do fruit on pizza. That's just
pineapple on pizza is the best. I'll tell you the best pizza combo. You're gonna call me gross, but you got to try it.
It is
pineapple and banana peppers. Fantastic.
I love banana peppers.
Sweet. It's sweet and a little bit of a spice to it. but it also looks like Mexicali fish keeper said that, let's see, his ambitious goal for 23 is to drive, instead of driving 3 hours to attend a club meeting, is to take the leap and start one locally. And I think that's awesome. As you can tell, Mitch, most of the, our this past year has been surrounded with club events, meeting club members. That's how Mitch and I got to be friends and to do this for, we've been doing the live stream for almost 6 months now, which is crazy.
26 episodes.
It's absolutely flown by. And it's been great. I absolutely love everybody joining, seeing all the people join week after week. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's been fantastic, just kind of becoming a part of the community that's here.
Yeah, I see Scully has joined us. Welcome, Skull Aquatics.
Welcome.
November was the community tab, and I know that throughout the first 6 months, I kept telling everyone that my goal was to hit that. I think it was 500 for the community tab. Yeah, and so that was my goal, because you got to have goals, right, in order to push forward. And so my goal was to get the community tab, because I have enjoyed social media for a long time, and I didn't really want to branch out into Twitter, or I don't really like using Facebook for my aquarium hobby and stuff like that. Other than, I've got a few groups that I'm involved in. Kane's No Pineapple Gang with you, Kane.
Come on now, Kane.
But it was one of those things where I really wanted to have that opportunity to communicate and to ask questions, to get polls, and also just say, hey, something's come up, I'm not going to be live. There's other ways that I'll also let the fish fam know that that's going on in case someone else wants to go live, things like that. But, I wanted that. YouTube opened that up to newer channels anyway. So we got that in November, and I was going through looking for a specific post on there earlier today, and I was like, wow, I've posted a lot in here. So, that's something that I've really enjoyed. Last month, you and I both started our first immerse growth for aquarium plants. You may have done it before. I'm not sure if you had before, but
yeah, I had done it. Actually, I do it every summer outside. So this is the first time that I've actually brought it indoors and done the tub, with a dome method. And I've got 10 or so containers right now full of immerse plants. I'm actually going to post some pictures. The growth on these has been incredible. I've gotten a ton of growth.
Mine are, they're Buse. They're still just kind of doing their thing. They're there.
I've got one of those Petco or PetSmart, whatever it is, tissue cultures. I've had it for about 2 months now, and it's still in the culture, and it's trucking along. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'll go into the tank when I do the rescape, but the plan is for it eventually to end up on some driftwood. But yeah, I'm doing that right now. That's something new, trying. Like you said, the live foods have been new and have been a really fun ride. I've made a lot of mistakes, but if you're wanting to breed Corridora, live foods, that's where it's at. Yes. Live foods all day. Definitely. Not all of them are hard. I feel like I've tried some of the harder ones. Not all of them have been harder ones. They've not been hard, but for a beginner, I failed at some pretty good ones to fill out, I feel. And then kind of wrapping up here because we're almost done. We're out of time, but we're right at the hour mark. This year, or this December, I got to add the blue diamonds. I have a video uploaded for this. So you guys will get to see the unboxing of the blue diamonds and get some footage of them in the 25-gallon. These I got from the Garden of Eaters 4,000 subscriber giveaway. And so that was really cool to be able to win that. And they're awesome. They're gorgeous, and I love them, and I'm obsessed with them. I want nothing more than to just sit in front of that tank and try to find all 13 of them. I'm looking forward to the day when I start finding the little bitty ones. And then also I added a power head to the 75-gallon because in our discussions about Algae Happens, which you can find at teespring.com, our Algae Happens series, we I realized in those research and conversation that I didn't have enough flow in the 75 gallon. Even though I thought I did, when I started looking at things, I started saying, oh, maybe flow is the issue. So I added a power head to this. I've got some footage of that, me adding it as well. That'll be coming out soon. But that caught the end of that is the end of the year for me. Hopefully, you can see the plants kind of swaying a little bit here now, as opposed to before when they all just kind of sat still and sat there. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to that. I feel like I'm seeing some changes already.
Yeah, the last little bit of the year of December has been pretty nuts for me as well, as far as the hobby. My black Corys spawned the day before I was heading to Knoxville, so I pulled those eggs. They're still doing good. I've got a couple fuzzy ones. I set up a shrimp only tank with Blue Dream shrimp. Let's see this actually happened last night. I got finally got some phosphate test or phosphorus test for my tanks, because I've still been dealing with that staghorn algae issue. And I've read with staghorn that one potential cause is increased phosphate levels. Well, I was like, you know what? I'm going to order some of the API little tests. I know it's not perfectly accurate. Test the phosphate. It was very high. So I'm hopefully exactly diagnosed what they're not exactly, but narrow down the diagnosis for that and can get rid of it.
Yeah, I've used that test. I didn't learn a lot from it, but at the time I was dealing with blackbeard, so I was trying to diagnose that.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out if I had too many phosphates. I have, where's my KH and my GH? Thankfully now I'm using test strips that give me a snapshot. I understand they're not exact. I'm not getting exactly what I have, but I should be able to find inconsistencies. And that's the goal there, is to see if it's fluctuating, because my water is what it is. I'm not gonna mess with how hard it is or any of that. But I didn't know until this year that my KH did dictate some of the plants that I would have success with, or what I would need to do to have success. And I've learned that this year, mainly with Stephen P. and their channel, and some of the conversations that I caught from them while researching fertilizer and stuff. So the Fish Fam, there's so many great channels out there to learn from. We all learn from them. And so I definitely want to make sure that I bring up any channel that I come across that has helped me, because I know it'll help others as well. But 2022 has just been an amazing year in the hobby for both of us. We've had a good time. I feel like our hobby has grown leaps and bounds. I'm even thinking about adding a rack of tanks, which, I said at the beginning of the year, I said, absolutely not. I've got a tank. That's all I need. And now I'm trying to, think through, well, if I had 3 tanks, and, even to the point that I think Kane was laughing at me, I was like, yeah, I could go 3 high, but why not go 4? The thought process there is, if I go 3 high, I get 2 tanks and a quarantine tank. If I go 4 high, I have 3 tanks and a quarantine tank. And I think I'd like to have that. So,
yeah.
But Zen, thank you for sharing those links. I create the shirts I want to wear, so that's what this is. I had fun making this before we did the Algae Happen series. And there's a shirt on there that I really want to buy that I haven't bought yet. That, not tooting my own horn. It was one of those things where I was in a mood and I was like, oh, I would wear this if I had it. So I made it. And it was the one that says, I just want to drink coffee and stare at my tanks all day. And I was like, that is exactly where I'm at today. And I'd love to have that shirt to wear. So it's on there. And that just kind of helps us to do other things if people were to buy them. The people that have bought them, thank you, because it's awesome to see someone buy and share pictures of something you created. And I'm not very creative on those things, but it was fun. And it's fun seeing that. So 2022 has been good to us. Thank you all for being here. We've still got just as many in the live stream right now as we had in the beginning. So thank you for hanging out with us and listening to us ramble about the year. And yeah, keeping, make sure you let me know. I'd love to talk about that. And so 2023 is going to be awesome. Next week, we will be talking about 2023. So we hope you join us for that conversation. Look for that video. It's uploaded. I just got to do a thumbnail and get it out there. I like to give this a couple of days before I put something else out there. So I'm sorry. I'm teasing you with something. If you're looking forward to it, it's going to be a day or two. I'm not going to put it out tonight. But I may decide to just put it out tonight. We'll see. Make sure you comment below if you'd like for it to be put out tonight. That would be awesome. But thank you all. Appreciate it. Yep. Y'all are awesome.
We'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, we'll see you in the new year. Have a good evening. We hope you enjoy your tanks and that you can stay scruffy.